So when I was sick, I didn't travel. When I was sick, I didn't come out of the house. When I was sick, and we knew. He just said, my wife's sick. That's what we called it. I was stuck in bed. I'd go weeks without showering. Stuck in bed. Yeah. But I would not leave that house if I wasn't feeling and looking good. So I hid it. I did not want anyone to know, and it was our pride. And for him, it was probably embarrassment. Because it would be unbelievable for people to think that I could be so sick. I didn't talk about mental illness. I didn't talk about depression. I didn't talk about being in a psych ward. I didn't talk about what I wanted to be. I wanted to be proud of speaking out, and I never took this step to be outspoken about mental illness because I was ashamed that I wasn't the big star athlete and the big star soldier and the wonderful mom and the wonderful wife and colonel's wife and all that bull. I could not get myself to be humble enough to say there's another dimension. Nope. Too proud. And how many of us are there? There's so many of us. And I'm still hiding it in here. And one of the reasons is because they put you in that damn turtle suit for months and weeks and years. And they do nothing. You lay on the floor, on a mat, in a turtle suit. And they ignore you. They ignore you. And then they talk to you like you're They treat you like you're They feed you like you're So you fake it. Come out here, get my makeup on, look at my uniform's all squared away, and then what? They treat me like I'm normal. So I act as normal as I can be, but I'm ate up inside. My head doesn't work right, but I'm gonna hide that from you. Because I'm gonna put on makeup like you, and I'm gonna wear my lipstick like you, and I'm gonna walk like you, because you're not gonna know I have a mental illness. Yeah, I go to pill line. It's obvious. We have a pill line every night, and all the sickos go down there every night and get our dope. Yep, not dope, but you know what I'm saying. Psychotropics. Yep. And you're laughed at. You're made fun of because you have a mental illness. Yep. You're humiliated. Is there rehab? No. Is there treatment? No. You get your pills. 3 pills max. One mood stabilizer, 1 depressant, antidepressant, and 1 other psychotropic. That's the limit. If you need 2 mood stabilizers, sorry. DOC says only 1. So we might not even be treated right in here. I mean, treated. Mm-hmm. We're treated properly. I mean, treated medically properly to be mentally stable. Am I mentally stable now? Mm-hmm. Hell no. Am I ever? I don't know. I don't know what it would take to become mentally stable. The fact that I'm doing this interview, they're going to go, she is not mentally stable, because who would ever do an interview? Who would ever do an interview? What do I want women to know? Don't be embarrassed. It's so hard. How do you not be embarrassed? How? What's the most embarrassing thing to you? How do you just come out with that? The most embarrassing thing to you and show the world? Think about it. What is everybody take your most embarrassing thing and then
Right.
show the world?
Right. So you're saying for women, just do not be embarrassed about this, especially anybody.
Well, obviously, because this, I've ruined way more lives than I would ever ruin just being me, mentally ill. And if I would have just come out and said, I'm mentally ill, and I'm dealing with it, and I need help, I would have embarrassed my family, probably. Just come out publicly and say, listen, I'm mentally ill. I'm a little paranoid, a little schizoaffective, a little manic depressive, a little bit of personality disorder. But if you knew all those things, you would probably understand. You can go insane. It's not impossible to go insane and do something that you don't know what you're doing. Because I've given you a couple examples. There are many examples of things that didn't end up as tragic as what put me in prison. But I've done a lot of things that were really illegal. I feel my whole life I've been very secretive about
Mental illness.
mental illness, and I'm also very secretive in prison. I want to speak out because I didn't take the stand. I regret not taking the stand. Because having this as a punishment, had I took the stand, there's nothing more I could have lost. I've lost everything. My children, my friends, my husband, my freedom. So there's no reason for me, there was no reason for me to not take the stand. They couldn't have hurt me more. There's nothing more they can do to me than I did to me. Man can't hurt me more than this, so there's no reason not to talk to you. I wish I was dead and they were alive, but I feel I protected them. I wish you understood. I wish you understood how I was thinking. I don't, you will never understand. You will never understand.
But try to make us understand what happened that day.
You know, if you think you're protecting your kids, if you think you're doing what you need to do to protect your kids, you will do anything. Jump in front of your kids to protect them from a car. Whatever it is that's going to hurt them.
So to
I
this
saw hurt. I protected my children from being hurt.
and years later, after the trial, you're in prison, you still believe that you were protecting your kids.
Now I know, because I read the Bible in jail, that they are without pain, without suffering, without tears, without injury or illness. which includes the mental illness, I'm assuming. And so I feel that confirmed my thinking that they are better off in heaven than on earth. I just want to be with them now.
So you do miss them?
Oh my God, yes. I wanted to bring you my album, but they wouldn't let me.
Do you still love your husband? Do you miss him? You do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, 25 years is a long time. Did you date a long time prior to that, or?
Yeah, we did. We dated from 88, and we got married in 91.
Wow, so.
But he said on the stand that he didn't know me when we got married. He said we didn't date before we got married. He said that on the stand, that we didn't know each other, we didn't date, and we dated for 3 years. I can't figure out why people lied up there. He said he didn't know me. And everyone that knows us from 88, 89, 90, 91 was probably watching the trial going, well, why is he lying about not knowing her prior to getting married? Didn't date at all. He said didn't date. A couple times we dated, he said, a couple times. And we dated for 3 years. We went, all our friends that we dated with, co-dated with, are probably thinking, why would he say that they didn't date?
All right, back now with Serena Fazan. Serena, I know you as a sensitive, a compassionate person, but I know you approached this as a hard-nosed journalist, but I know it must have been very, very difficult because of the subject matter, because of who you were dealing with.
It was, Brendan, and I talked to you about this afterwards because I didn't know what to do. What you're looking at right now is she actually asked me to pray with her. And she had left the interview room, asked the guard if she could come back in to pray. I felt so conflicted as a person, but I'm a human being too. And in the prayer, what she's saying to me is she is thanking me for coming, thanking me for doing the interview, to get the message out about Calyx and Beau, and I'm sorry, I get very emotional, from preventing this from happening again. Right. And there is something else that, I debated sharing this, and I apologize, everybody, because I'm getting emotional. But when this happened, Samantha was 3 years old, and I talked to you about this a lot, and your wonderful wife, who I adore, Sandy.
And Samantha's pretty adorable, too, I can testify.
But I really desperately wanted another child at the time. And you and Sandy were wonderful about that, and because of circumstances in my life, that did not happen. So I could not wrap my head around how could a woman who has 2 beautiful kids do this? I wanted answers.
Well, that's why I think you brought some humanity to this whole thing, Serena, and you did it in a way that I think you were uniquely well suited for. That moment of prayer with her was a very human moment. That was one human being to another. It's easy to dismiss somebody like this as a monster, and we should point out that nothing you're seeing from Serena and I or this presentation is in any way intended as exculpatory or as an excuse for what she did. Which brings me to another question, and that is, to what extent, Serena, do you think Julie Schenecker understands what she did and accepts responsibility for what she did?
I think she understands now. I honestly do. I think she understands the horrific act because her mind is more clear, because she's been given these drugs. I feel she spoke out, jeopardizing, and as you said, Brendan, we're not excusing this at all, but she spoke out, and that could jeopardize her appeal. And I've done numerous interviews with criminals behind bars. All of them want a new trial, they want an appeal. She does not want an appeal. She does not want a trial. She just wants, as you heard her, she would prefer to die.
Well, again, the hope is that people will see this presentation. Somebody who might be feeling suicidal, homicidal, at the end of their rope, might see this as a lesson or a cautionary tale to get help by whatever means. Thank you, Serena, very much.
Thank you,
for this
Brendan.
extraordinary interview. Thank you for joining us here on ABC Action News Now for this special presentation. We are here, by the way, streaming news, live events, and breaking news online and on ABC Action News mobile app 24/7.
And you can watch a replay of the entire interview on abcactionnews.com and on the app as soon as it's available. And make sure you sign up for our push alert notifications so you can be alerted to breaking news and live streams as they happen. Good night.
Good night.